Middle East tensions. Now the breaking news coming in is of the Iranian missile hitting the Soroka hospital. That's the latest coming in at the moment. This is in Israel amidst Iran-Israel conflict. Iranian missile has hit a Israeli hospital, and we have those extremely dramatic and disturbing visuals on your screen as well. A hospital has been struck there. Missiles hit the hospital in Israel. Iran has struck a hospital, and the damage, obviously, as you can see on the screens of the strike. Let's take a look at the visuals. We have obviously some. Okay, Srinjoy is joining us live on the broadcast. Srinjoy, these are rather disturbing visuals coming in, news coming in at the moment that an Iranian missile has hit the Soroka hospital in Israel. Can you give us more details about this missile hit? And obviously, this also shows us the human damage, when it comes to such conflicts.
This is a terrible, terrible tragedy, and the fear is that this kind of thing could happen on both sides, and this could happen again and again. That is the big worry, because this battle has been going on, this near war has been going on for 4 or 5 days. Already there have been casualties on both sides, and these are civilian casualties. A hit on a hospital inevitably means huge civilian casualties. Now that is very, very unfortunate and very tragic. About that there is no doubt. But there appears to be no sign that this war can be brought to an end, because every effort appears to be failing. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that this is not the time for war. The 21st century is not the time for war. And there is a belief that if the United States and 1 or 2 other countries get involved seriously, then this matter can be brought to a right conclusion. But at this point, there seems to be no sign of the war coming to an end, which means that there will be more tragedies and similar tragedies in the future.
Well, absolutely. And these are very disturbing visuals coming in. The extent of the damage is not known, but it seems pretty obvious that civilians have been hit. A missile from, Iranian side hitting an Israeli hospital. Those dramatic visuals coming in. And obviously, Justice Srinjoy was also emphasizing and underlining Prime Minister's message, the Prime Minister Modi's message that this is not an era of war, becomes even more relevant today, isn't it, Srinjoy? Because these visuals, which we were speaking of, the civilian casualties, the civilians getting impacted by this conflict, obviously, that's exactly what we can see on our screens. And far as the war, or rather the conflict is concerned, it doesn't seem that the tensions are going to abate or reduce in the coming days at all.
Yes, considering this near war, which has been going on for a few days now, it's very clear that there will be civilian casualties as part of this process. Because if you're aiming missiles at a city or a military site, there could well be a hospital next to it. Now, similarly, there have been civilian casualties on both sides. But this one is particularly horrific because it has hit a hospital. Now that is, from the pictures you could see how terrible this tragic incident is. So this has to really stop, because otherwise there will be more civilian casualties. And as PM has said, war is not the right the thing to do in the 21st century. Now let's hope that some effort is made to ensure that this is brought to a conclusion. Maybe the Americans can get involved, maybe other countries can get involved, and the problems can be sorted out over at a table rather than by aiming missiles at each other. Both countries have enough missiles, both countries have enough weapons, so naturally this war can continue for longer.
Well, absolutely panic and chaos, as we can see viewers in the visuals coming in, at this major hospital. This is located in Israel. Let's take a look at the latest visuals coming in, extremely disturbing visuals coming in of an Israeli hospital being struck by an Iranian strike. Srinjoy, Sanjoy, visuals of panic and chaos, extremely disturbing visuals. But again, just as you were saying that it's both sides which are firing a barrage of missiles at each other, casualties, civilian sufferings on both sides. What's the end game? What happens next? Because, tensions again showing no sign of abating. In fact, war rhetoric only escalating from both sides.
From what we've heard over these last 2-3 days, things are actually getting worse. Because from the US president, you've heard of unconditional surrender. You've heard of the possibility, or at least the potential, of striking Ayatollah Khamenei himself. You've heard the Iranians say that definitely we will not surrender. There is also talk, unverified, about a ground operation. Now, all of this, it can mean the widening of a war. It could get much worse. Hopefully, some effort will be made to bring this to an end. Because what Israel wants is an end to Iran's nuclear weapons program. Now, if that can be achieved, and let's not forget, G7 has spoken about it, Macron has spoken about it, other leaders have spoken about it, and the Russians have been previously involved in this. If this can be done with the help of other countries, and it would ensure that the war ends.
Yeah.
So some kind of solution is really necessary to end this war. How it can happen, which countries will help, which countries can get involved, is something that has to be worked out.
Well, yes, and just as you were mentioning, Sanjoy, obviously Putin earlier had said that he would like to mediate. Trump, though, asking Putin to first solve his own battles and mediate in his own war. But we'll get to that, viewers, in a bit. But first, let's talk about the latest news coming in.